Well, hello. Thanks for joining me here on the Good Divorce Show. I'm Karen McNenny, your Good Divorce coach and host. I can't believe we are kicking off our fourth season. It was, 4 years ago, I was approached about doing a podcast. And just a little bit of background, I have spent the better part of 25 plus years as a business consultant. During the pandemic, things got quiet. I was no longer inside the workplace, executive coaching and hosting retreats, speaking at conferences. All of that work came to a close, which gave me an opportunity to lean into something I've felt really passionate about, for over 15 years, which is how we do divorce in this country and how damaging it is and how unnecessary the long, drawn out, expensive journeys are. So while I was sitting around in my PJs like everyone else during the great and powerful pause, I started to Google divorce doula, divorce coach, divorce guidance. And sure enough, I found a whole growing industry in the divorce coaching world. And the reason I even started searching is that a corporate client of mine was sitting in a leadership retreat that I was hosting. And I started to speak about my divorce by way of leading change and transformation. And the CEO of that company was prodding me like, I don't think our leaders really understand the significance of leading change and what their employees are going through. Well, I've never led a big corporate change. The only really big transformational change that I've led was guiding my family in partnership with my husband at the time through divorce. So I was sharing that story. And during the break, one of those professionals came up to me and said, Gosh, Karen, we're really struggling in our marriage and wondering if you would be available to help guide us through that change and transformation. Now, at that point, I didn't even know divorce coaching existed. But I said, sure. I have been a mediator. I trained as a therapist. I, felt pretty comfortable in conflict. So I took them on as clients in the middle of the pandemic. And all they wanted to do in that moment was get into two homes. Their rental home that they owned was becoming available. And as a result, they thought this is a good time for us to divide into two homes, take our two young kids who were about 6 and 8 at the time, and just try this out to see if divorce really is the right answer for us, which I thought was a brilliant approach. Now, not all of us have the opportunity to have a second home across town, but for this couple, it was the right answer. And honestly, I realized that just the separation into two homes is a huge part of this process. How we begin is often how we end. And rather than leaping to, let's call a attorney and start dividing our assets, let's first focus on the family before we focus on the finances. And that has become the model for the good divorce methodology, which is communicating with the kids. How are we cohabitating within one home? Because often many of us are in one home before we move to two. And when we decide to divorce, and we were able to create a nesting schedule where the kids stayed put and the parents were coming and going, and then eventually leading those children into a two-home lifestyle, trying to understand what it is to manage the logistics across two homes. It's complicated. Where's the ski gear? I've lost the soccer cleats. What time is the concert on Tuesday? Oh, are we going to go to that parent-teacher conference together? All of those micro moments are really what cast the long shadow of divorce for your family. And I I believe attorneys will get you divorced, but who's going to teach you how to be divorced? Well, that's why I started this podcast. And circling back, I was approached by a production company to do a podcast about leadership and corporate America and creating great culture and helping work not suck. But I didn't want to do that podcast. I had just come into this world of divorce coaching, had just been certified. It was about 2021 at that time. And I asked that production company if I could do a podcast about divorce and could we call it the Good Divorce Show? And what I really want are to have real people on the show because I know families like mine who didn't blow themselves up on the way out the door, who actually maintained civility and compassion and kindness. But I think a lot of people don't know that that's even a possibility. So, true to my background as an actor and a performer and a storyteller, it is through story that we begin to see new possibilities. And I started to recruit couples, moms and dads together, couples that maybe didn't have children, but had a life together and they were unraveling and they were able to do so, maybe not becoming friends on the other side, but being friendly, absolutely. So through those stories, interviewing young adults, um, interviewing my own daughter, talking with adult children of divorce, parents sitting down with their adult children, talking about the journey, couples sitting side by side, admiring one another, celebrating the success of their two-home family. Rather than seeing it as a failure, we really start to see it as just a restructuring. We need to reframe how we look at divorce, how we talk about divorce, and certainly how we navigate divorce. That's what you're going to find here on the Good Divorce Show. I will continue to bring those real life stories into season 4. I'm also going to have those professionals, people who work in the real estate and mortgage world, which is always core to many divorces. The housing, who's staying in the home, are we selling the home? I will also be talking with financial professionals and mental health professionals, child life specialists, co-parenting specialists. We're here to provide education so that people know how to do this better. If you're anything like me, when we arrived at the threshold of getting divorced, and of course, like many of us, we were in couples therapy. We were fighting hard for our marriage. We were going to save this family. And we should make that effort. But we also should not stay too long. People ask, what's the biggest mistake people make in their divorce? And I think it's actually that we stay too long. We know our truth long before we speak it. We see that exit off ramp and we just keep driving by it until things get so bad. And sometimes I think we begin to sabotage the marriage and our behavior within it so that we can better justify the departure. Don't do it. Just find the elegant exit. In the Good Divorce methodology, we're really committed to early intervention and prevention of future pain and suffering. A good divorce doesn't mean an easy divorce. It's hard. It's painful. It's grief. It's a death on many, many levels. We're going to talk about all of those nuances that you might be navigating as I share my own journey of navigating my divorce, which was almost 15 years ago. Our kids, we say we've ushered them from kindergarten to college across 2 homes, 2 loving homes with 2 adoring parents who sat side by side for every single important moment for our children. And even though they're now over 18 and there isn't a parenting plan kind of being the guardrails for us, we established a co-parent relationship that's very cooperative. And I know our kids have benefited from it. I work with couples post-divorce who don't talk. All they do is exchange messages. And I don't know how that works, honestly. It becomes a logistical shuffling of kids across two homes, but where's the conversation of how are they doing? Did you hear about the new crush? I'm really concerned. Is there a learning disability? Let's go ahead and think about what the summer plans are going to be. What does our child need right now? Oh, I'm noticing them at home too. Oh, they became vegetarian. I heard that they were going to eat meat. Oh my God. All of the things that we need to do as co-parents in order to usher our children through their life successfully and beyond. And again, the Good Divorce movement is here to protect those kids, because the last thing they want to do is manage your drama on their wedding day. We've heard those stories. It happens. Well, we're here to prevent that. So stay with us through the season. And I'm so excited to share other things that are now happening in 2026. Not only are we into season 4 of the podcast, but I am also launching the Good Divorce Academy this year, where you can join an online community of education where you can learn the tools of how to co-parent successfully, where there will be support groups on a weekly basis, a men's group, a women's group, an LGBTQ group for those more unique situations where we have same-sex couples or couples that have shared a household or children but didn't actually legally get married or weren't able to legally get married. There will be a support group for all of you. There will be education. There will be office hours with me and other professionals. So hop on over to thegooddivorceacademy.com where you can join that community in your own education. Of course, you can always reach out to work with me one-on-one, where I will shepherd you and your partner through the entire process of divorce. Kind of, we say, from A to Z. And in the middle of that, we're going to get you legally divorced, but primarily we're going to help your family transition and learn how to be a divorced family. That's the Good Divorce Academy, a place to learn, not be shamed and judged. And drum roll, please, the most exciting news of 2026. Well, I'm excited about all of it. I have my book being published May 12th, 2026. As we kick off this season, it is currently for sale, pre-sales, and they matter, folks. So please hop on over to Amazon or your other online sellers. They'll be in bookstores come May 12th, but go ahead and make that purchase so that you can enter into the movement that I am really trying to lead, which is to disrupt the divorce industrial complex as we know it. And it is become this industry that exploits families at their most vulnerable. It was a $3.1 billion industry, billion with a B like boy, in 2024. There are huge economic effects that come as a result of not supporting families through divorce. It's a grief and it's a death. We underestimate what that is as a society. You know, I always say if my husband had died, someone would have brought me a casserole. But instead, it was probably whispers in the grocery store and people avoiding me, afraid that divorce might be contagious, which of course it's not. So we're going to bring divorce out of the cave of shame and isolation and into the light of education and support and compassion. And the book itself is kind of a three-part trifecta. It is my personal story and the journey, especially those early days of the decision about the divorce, moving into two homes, how to tell the kids, the grief, the community, the new dating, and the reinvention of myself and our family. It's also a how-to. It's guidance, like we have here on the Good Divorce Show, on some really practical tools to help you navigate your own good divorce. And the third part of that triangle is a call to action. It is my advocacy work to reveal what's happening within the family law. I don't even know what you call it, the circus, the exploitive legal arena of divorce, and how we need to take back our families, realize that it is a family event with a legal component, not a legal event with a little family part. And yeah, We are here to disrupt the divorce industry as we know it and to change the negative narrative. So please find me at thegooddivorcecoach.com, the Good Divorce Academy, where you can hop on to a community of support and education. And please make your purchase of The Good Divorce, How to End Your Marriage Without Ending Your Family, so that we can spread the word and support others. And as you come along this podcast, if it's resonating with you, please subscribe and follow, share it with other friends that are getting divorced, but also people who are supporting either the industry, working inside of it, or to family members and friends who are supporting folks going through divorce. In doing so, we educate everybody more about this event that affects 40% of all marriages in America. And frankly, we can do better. I'm so excited to have you along for the ride. You are courageous to even pull up this podcast, and maybe you're sitting alone in a closet listening, or trapped in your car where no one can hear, or have your earbuds in while you're on a dog walk. Know that this is a safe place to learn and to grow and to transform your life and your family in the most positive way possible while doing a really hard thing. And remember, everything will be okay in the end. And if it's not okay, it's not the end.